Hello everybody, how's it going today? It's Frankie here and I'm back with another movie review. Now, I don't know what to think of this movie. At first it gripped me, but then I got confused with the ending a little bit. But yeah, we'll get straight into it. The title is called You'll Never Find Me. And bear in mind, I will be talking a lot on this movie. Obviously, watch the movie first and then see my movie review, because there's a lot of dialogue in this movie. There's a lot to go through. I'm going to shorten it as, make it short as possible. Summarize it as much as possible, and yeah, so if I miss anything I do apologize, just let me know what you think. But yeah, so basically this movie starts off really fascinating. You know, it comes to a guy, you know, it's this guy that lives in he's lives in some sort of some sort of caravan, something like that, or sort of apartment. I don't know what you call it, right? But it's near a playground or that fairground or something like that. And yeah, so there's so many noises he hears above him, and there's a storm, and this woman knocks on his door. We don't know the woman's name, she's just a stranger for now. Knocks on his door and then just talks about how she wants to get back, and how she needs to be escorted back, she needs to be driven back to where she lives. And he was like, no, just wait till the storm goes, blah blah. And it's sort of one of those where it's very tense, and I really love the story. The story grips me. I'm not sure how to feel about the end part of the movie. So yeah, as it goes on, they begin talking and asking each other questions, and she sees some circle thing. I don't know what it's called, and it has her name Emily on it. And she also sees something else with a necklace. Basically, that's going to be important coming towards the end of it. She's a necklace, and she's like, oh, she didn't say anything. She looks at it, and the guy talks to her, and yeah, she obviously gives it back to him. So I think, okay, what's going on here? Bear in mind, I have so many different theories in this movie that whilst I was watching it, there's so many theories you could have, but it's still coming towards the end. Remember to watch my movie review. Remember to watch the movie first, then watch the review. Bit messy, this intro, so you know what I mean anyway. Doing the best I can. So yeah, as the night goes on and as they're talking there, he tells her, okay, you can have a shower. She goes to have a shower, and while she's washing her hair, she begins to see blood, and blood is dripping from her head. So you're thinking, what's going on here? Is the place haunted? Is there aliens doing something? That's what I was thinking. And she sees blood, and she gets freaked out, and after a while, there's no blood there. So you think, okay, maybe there's something going, she's hallucinating. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's something wrong with the house. As she gets out of the bathtub, she sees a person in there behind the curtains, and she opens it, nothing there. There's no jump scare, so you don't have to worry whatsoever about that. As she goes back out, he makes soup, and they're talking, and she says something, and her persona kind of changed a little bit. But one of the questions she asks, is, are you hiding here? And he sort of gets freaked out. This dude is very odd once you get to know him. There's something off about him. There's something weird. He looks like he's a guilty conscience on him. Asks questions, and he says something back all the memories keep playing over and over like a broken record. Then he talks about his I think he talks about his daughter, something like that. He talks about something, and something about family or something like that. And it's kind of creepy why he mention that sort of stuff. And as she sits down to eat the soup, and as he keeps talking, they hear a massive knock at the door, and he waits, and he gets freaked out by the knock on the door for some reason. So he gets freaked out, and then the power goes out. I was like, oh, what's going on here? Didn't you think is something going to happen, like a possession? Not quite. And there's always something going on in the back room of where he's at. I don't know what you call this, the place that he lives in, his house is about. It's not really a house, but I've forgotten the name of it. It will come back to me. And yeah, so it's always at the back, and you won't find out till towards the end of it. And then the circuit breaker. So she asked him, the second circuit be fixed from the inside, and he was like, okay. They both go there, and she sees a hammer and screwdriver in the box as she's behind him, which is kind of a bit, I don't know why she found that weird. I mean, keep a hammer at me, but why would you keep a hammer there? Maybe that's what she was thinking. And gives her a screwdriver, and she sees a mark, on his back, bleeding or something like that, and he was a bit like, he looked quite possessed for some reason. I don't know what it was, but he looked very possessed. And then he's like, didn't say anything, and she goes out back out the room again, and begins to know that, and again the roof starts making noise. They're keeping someone on the roof or whatever, and it's, for me, I thought it was like probably aliens, possibly. Yeah, it was so many theories of this, so maybe something happened, maybe they're both ghosts. I don't know what's going on this. And as a, if it's going to unravel, they start to know more about each other, and they look at each other like they've seen each other before. He feels like he's seen her before, and there was the odd scene where there was a flashback to like somebody in the car. I would assume it's like the dude or whatever, I don't know, and a woman outside you can never see, and that only happened at 3-4 times. They shown that flashback scene, and they're playing a card game, and he calls it bull, you know what. So I heard and he calls out and he's like, oh, you're lying. And she says that, because at the start she said she was sleeping on the beach and she just woke up and she just got here. Yeah, that's a bit weird. And she didn't come without any shoes. But then she said at this table that she was coming from somewhere else. I don't know what's going on. Her memory seems a bit fuzzy. That all makes sense soon. And then yeah, so as the story goes on, he starts to go back outside. This is like, I think I'm skipping a lot of bits here, and she demands to get out, but he was like, you can if you want, and she just insists. I don't know what, she just wants to stay, and something makes her stay. And it's like she thinks that he's locking her in, and he's like, nope, and stuff like that. It's like something's going on. It's like they've seen each other, but they can't put a finger what's going on. It's like they've known each other, but they don't in that sense. You'll find out later on what I mean when I explain it. And yeah, and then you see him holding something in his hand. That's some sort of, I don't know what it is. Some sort of drug somebody with. Like, you put the drink in this over. I don't know. I speak of drink. She was a scene where she took a drink out of like a glass, and there's like lipstick stains on it. So she's like, what is going on here? What's happening? And another scene where she finds like an earring in her not in the hair, but in the medicine cabinet. And it was the earring that they shown in the scene in that ear. It's like, wait, she didn't drop or anything. There was no scene of her dropping it. How did magically get there? And he looks and he's like, oh, and he recognises it. And he sort of recognises what's going on. It's like very tense. I kind of like the tension. The acting's brilliant. It's an Australian horror. I like more Australian horrors. And it's sort of like, I like this sort of like story to it, where it kind of makes me confused. It makes me question things. I love the storyline to it. I love the dialogue and what they say. It builds up the tension. I'm still a bit confused by it though, but let me go deep into the story. And there's a scene where I think before that she actually sees a phone ringing. She hears a phone ringing, and the light the phone is showing, and someone called Nicole. And I kid you not, this is one of my theories right here. I'll explain to you what I mean. As she opens up the curtain of the back door, or back, I don't know what you call it, the back room or something, and then it's a woman's body right there covered, her face covered. And when she just showed the face, I thought it was her at first. It was somebody else. Wow. I think it was as soon as press called Nicole, because the phone is there. Wow. And she quickly runs into the bathroom, and that's when she starts finding that earring. And also there was like a little glass thing, like glass window. She starts to break, and blood comes down. So which is where's the blood come from? Right? That's she was confused, but I was confused at what on earth is going on, and she finds out about all that type of stuff. And yeah, then she runs, and this guy obviously, this guy gets a bit more deranged now. He tries to kill her. I think he forces her, he drugs her, but he ties up and then he drugs her, puts her in the back room where that woman was, and then they swap. And yeah, so she was hearing his voice in her head or something like that, and she tries to escape, but it's almost like, she couldn't for some reason. It's like, why is she actually stuck there for life? And he begins to drag her in the kitchen, drag her in the living room, tries to kill her there. And she can't even get out because the door's still locked. He has a key, and forcing her to drink, drugs her, puts her on the sofa, And then he begins to realize something. Which is like, I kind of knew this dude was a kid. I had a feeling there was something off about him. Did he kill him? She's like a ghost or something like that. So, and then he begins to have a flashback because he was talking about his wife, and that made me think: did he murder his wife too with all that? When he was doing that to this woman, we certainly know the visitor's name, so that's one thing I was confused. I would love to know more about her name. And yeah, so he begins to realize there was a flashback of that. I would assume it's him in the car, but I'm not sure who's in the car. It's just the woman outside, so it's a bit weird, that scene right there. And then he looks and he's like, something's not quite right here. Lifts up, lifts a little bit of her top up, and it's showed like a mark there, like some sort of like, not touch, I don't know what it was, and he recognises it, and he's like, hold on a minute, why do I recognise this? And he lifts up the towel cloth from her face, and her eyes are open. Oh my god, freaky. And then he begins to get in shock and panic. He's like, oh, and her head is literally just out bleeding, like she was hit over the head with a hammer. And you see the camera cut to him holding a hammer that's got blood on it. Wow. And it all makes sense now why her head was bleeding, because he actually killed her. But prior to this, that's how he recognises her. And I think he takes medication, he drinks a lot, so his mental state's not good. So he must have forgotten that he murdered her, which would make more sense. You would remember who you killed. I don't know. I'm not a serial killer, so I wouldn't know. But he says, and she was like saying, "Oh, the weather's not good out there. I don't know what to do." And she's out of it. She got hit over there, so she was not right there. And he was like in shock. So he moves back. He panics. And then he goes to the other rooms and he sees like they go in the bathtub there. He's like they go with her, and he also sees like I would assume the woman's the car. I don't know who her name is. I assume it's his wife or something. I don't know who it is. I think it's his wife because he was talking about a bag of chips, right? So you see a bag of chips. I would assume that's his wife, but then his wife's called, I assume it's called Nicole because the phone next to her said Nicole and she had a few missed calls, which is a bit. That was a bit of a good scene. This actually good near the end of the movie. Good graphics, good quality. And he goes and he gets dragged in. I don't know if it was the sight bugging. I don't know if it was the sight or it was meant to be dark and him to talking about his family being the power cut. And don't know why they had to feel the need to repeat that part again, that line. I don't think I was meant to say anything because he came out the back room. It was the windows, curtains were covered. But then he said dad or something, and he just pushed him out. He was covered in blood. He goes back to the living room. Yeah, all the bodies are there just standing up. Their faces are covered. He tries to move, and it feels like he's drugged for some reason, and he can't do anything about it. So he falls on the floor. He sees, I would assume it's Nicole, I don't know, eating like crisps. I call them crisps, and that's what we call them, crisps here. In the UK we call them crisps. And her mouth is frothing. And that's the exactly same thing that he gave the visitor, like drug wise. And then it cuts to like the police officers constantly banging on his door. And now we get to see the deeper reason as to why he was like paranoid about someone potentially following. He was paranoid that he thought the visitor told him that she was there or whatever. So that's where the paranoia comes from. You see the blue and red flashing lights, constantly knocking the door. It's like he was cursed by his own guilt here. It's like he was cursed by what he did. And he talked about mistakes or something like that. I don't know. Whilst he was drumming the visitor, he was talking about mistakes. And it was crazy. You guys flat on the floor. And then you see like the visitor just pick him up, put him on the chair and force feeding him alcohol. And then, serves him right, to be fair. I'm quite surprised he didn't do it sooner because this must be what serial killers probably do experience after time. They do get like the guilt of these victims that they murdered. But yeah, so that's probably what they do experience. And I'm surprised that even though he wasn't guilty for what he said, he never said, "Oh, I'm sorry," but he was freaked out. What else did you expect, mate? You did all this. He never wanted to apologise or whatever, which would any type of kill would do in that situation. And then she forced him to sit down, forced him to drink all that alcohol, averaging vodka, whatever it is. And then she starts laughing. And then, as the last drop is there, he wakes up and everything's all normal. And then everything's all normal. Like, what? And then he hears a knock on the door or wherever it is, and he hears noises, and he sees kids outside playing. And then he holds something in his hand, which is like the tiny bottle, and he starts laughing. And then closes the door. I'm literally just so confused by that. Like, I was gripped on the story. I was like, okay, we're gonna find out who the visitor is. But maybe it was just him that actually killed it, and that was her spirit returning. That's how they thought they knew each other. Especially that scene where the ceiling was cracked. There was cracking, and I don't know what it was. It's almost like, are they in a ghost dimension? Like, what is happening? So maybe the ending was obvious. I'm just a bit too confused. Like, who was the visitor exactly? Was her name Emily? Because Emily, like, there was a necklace there next to the whatever. I don't know what that circle thing is called. Let me know in the comments if you know what that is. But yeah, I don't know what to make of this movie. It confused me a little bit towards them, but I think it was kind of obvious. He was actually a killer. I thought there was something off about him. Did he actually kill her and she came back to haunt him, or I was thinking she was probably a ghost in time. I don't know what it was. Because with ghosts, with these type of movies, the ghosts are always the ones that come back barefoot. I don't know if any of you realised that. They always come back barefoot. They never actually wear trainers or shoes. Because that's how they were killed. Well, not always, but you know, she's probably dumped in the river somewhere. That's what she's actually woke up on the beach. So he must have killed her on the beach. And he must have left her there. And then that's when the spirit must have found out where he lived and started to haunt him. But she didn't know. She had to piece it together herself, and she got the hammer, and it's almost like things are coming back to her. It was a weird one, and she never actually went back outside again. I kind of noticed why she didn't head back outside. But he didn't know that he killed her, so he was like, "What's going on?" And he started to realize, "Oh, right, it's probably one of my victims." So yeah, and there's not much. There wasn't other scenes I could actually, there was so much going on. I didn't know what other important scenes to mention. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, please, because let me know if you figured out straight away. I was kind of along the lines. I thought it would have been aliens or something like that because of how the radio was operating, how the roof was. It could be some sort of alien creature. I was kind of close to also other and the fear was like maybe she's a ghost and maybe he did kill, and he actually did, but prior to that. But it was a bit confusing towards them because usually he would remember something like that. So I don't know what to rate this. I won't say it's a fantastic, flawless movie. I was about to give it a clap, but then the ending sort of like felt a bit obvious to me, and it wasn't as incredible as I thought towards the end. But Dad was saying good, tension was good, acting was brilliant, the plot was good. I mean, could have made the ending a little less obvious, if I'm being quite honest. Yeah, I guess the ending is obvious. Like, they never did find him at the end. You'll never find me. So yeah, maybe the odd dagger probably did give it away, and maybe he did remember, because when he was like cleaning the pan, the pan he made soup in, there was blood, and that just disappeared after a while. So it was all a curse for him. So yeah, I was thought there was gonna be jump scares in the way the movie was going. Yeah, so not much else to report there. The rating, God, this video shouldn't have been this long, to be honest. You can watch if you want half of them. Go to the rating at the end. Your choice. Rating. Movie is good. On the board of okay. Ah man, you know what? I'm gonna say for the graphics and quality of it, I'm gonna say a questionable 8. 7 or 8 it deserves. It's definitely above average. Acting's good. Graphics is good. Quality. Quality of the movie in general, I think is fantastic. Could have had a bit more to the story. Could have made it less obvious, I think. Yeah, it wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. A bit disappointed, but yeah, hooked from the start. I'll give them that one. Intrigued, I guess, by the story. Not much else, to be fair. So yeah, 7 or 8 kind of deserves. So yeah, 8 out of 10 it is. If you enjoyed this video, please give a like, comment, share if you know, subscribe, hit the notification below. So I'll see you in my next video.